Yo, what's up YouTube? It's the year of the spear, and this is AyksTV bringing you one of the several Survival Hunter 9.1 guides. Why do I say several? Is because I'm gonna separate them between Mythic Plus and single target and raiding, just to give you some more information rather than having one big video and you can really delve deep into, I guess, multi-target and single target. But today, we're going to be talking about Kyrian Mythic Plus. And then we'll talk about, I know a lot of people have stayed Night Fae, so we'll also talk about Night Fae as well. They're both really good at the moment at level 48. They're pretty much the same, but right now, in Mythic Plus, we see Kyrian starting to scale further because of the new MIKANIKOS Soulbind that we actually just received, and we'll talk about it in this video. So before we get onto it, I appreciate everybody, all the new subscribers, all the new commenters, everybody joining the Survival Hunter fam. I appreciate it a lot. So today we're going to go over the Soulbind's talents and what's the other one, and Conduits, just to talk about which ones you should be using and how you should be playing the spec itself. So further ado, let's go and let's talk about the talent build. Alright. So a lot of people have been asking, why do you run Flanking Strike or why do you run Tip of the Spear in Mythic Plus? So I'll explain why once we get to the level 45 talents. But let's start with the basics. So Alpha Predator. Alpha Predator has 2 charges and deals 30% increased damage. The reason why, kill command is our focus regeneration, so more kill commands equal more focus equals easy weaving between calves and raptor strikes and serpent stings. So Alpha Predator is the go-to here. Next part, we're actually going to talk about guerrilla tactics in the level 25 row. Wildfire Bomb has 2 charges and the initial explosion deals 100% damage. So because we are running the Wildfire Cluster Legendary, this syncs very well, and because Wildfire Bomb is one of the uncapped AoEs in the game, it just syncs really well. The next one, you can either run Trailblazer. So Trailblazer, your movement speed is increased by 30% at any time when you're running between mobs, but you don't really take this much just because you're mounting. You can run Natural Mending, just decreases the cooldown of your exhilaration every time you spend 20 focus by 1 second. And most of the times, if you need to do skips, Camouflage is probably the best one here. It's on a 1 minute cooldown, but while you're in cooldown, while you use Camouflage, you are in stealth and you heal for 2% of your health every 1 second, which is really, really good. It helps out healers. So it lives through bursting. So if you get a bursting pack, finish it off, hit your Camouflage and start helping out your healer. So in the 35 row, we have Bloodseeker, which kill command just puts a bleed over 8 seconds, and also you and your pet get 10% attack speed per bleed. So this also works with Guardian Druids when they use Thrash in AoE packs, or warriors that put the Ren debuff, so that works as well. So Bloodseeker is your go-to here. In the 45 row, we have either Post Haste. Post Haste disengage frees you from movement impairing effects, and you gain 50% movement speed for 4 seconds. This is really good with the new affix. One of the Tormented actually pulls you in and changes you. You can Post Haste out of it straight away. But Wildfire Bomb and the Wildfire Legendary actually carries it. So if you set up 1 to 2 bombs, you just throw your Wildfire Bomb in it and it automatically deletes. But a Post Haste is pretty good in certain scenarios. You can also run Binding Shot. Binding Shot fires magical arrows, an arrow on the floor, and it roots people if they move out of the circle for 8 seconds, which is really good for raging keys. Other than raging keys, you probably want to run Post Haste, but Binding Shot has its, I guess, its niches. to the level 45 row. So level 45 row, you can either run Tip of the Spear, which kill command increases the damage of your next raptor strike by 25%, sorry, stacking up to 3 times. Or you can run Flanking Strike. Flanking Strike, you and your pet leap to the target and you deal a flat amount of physical damage. So I'll explain afterwards, straight after actually, why the difference between Tip of the Spear and Flanking Strike. And then the last but not least, in the 50 row, you run your Wildfire Infusion. Wildfire Infusion changes your Wildfire Bomb to 3 bombs. A blue bomb we call Shrapnel, which when you use Raptor Strike or Carve, you put a bleed, which will stack up to 3 times. You have Pheromone Bomb, which is the red bomb, which your kill command will have a 100% chance to reset on pheromone targets. So you're just being able to spam not Raptor Strike, kill command. And your green bomb, the Volatile Bomb, which when used on targets that have your Serpent Sting, it does AoE damage, but also refreshes the Serpent Sting on all affected targets. So this is your pretty much your standard setup. And then, alright, so a quick rundown versus Tip of the Spear versus Flanking Strike, which I'll put in both videos. So Flanking Strike works well in AoE because 1, it does like a set amount of damage, and 2, it gives you 30 focus. So while you're weaving your Serpent Stings, your Carves, your bombs in between, you can use your Flanking Strike to gain more focus to be able to hit that extra Carve, or you can use Flanking Strike to hit those extra Serpent Stings to be able to set up your green bomb. And so it scales better in an AoE scenario. And also it does a lot of damage. It actually hits harder than a 3-stack Tip of the Spear. But you can only use it once every 30 seconds. Which, Tip of the Spear, you can use in AoE. It's better single target damage. But in an AoE scenario, you don't generally use your Raptor Strike. You're setting up your Serpent Stings. You're setting up your Carves. You're setting up your Wildfire Bombs. And also you're using kill command as well to be able to regain focus so you can set up more Serpent Stings. And while using more kill commands in AoE, you're not ever going to Raptor Strike, so you're actually wasting the Tip of the Spear buff. So that's why in most, aka 99% of the times in Mythic Plus now, you do want to run Flanking Strike. And it also has a really cool animation because you and your pet jump to it. So there's the difference. If you do like running Tip of the Spear, you can still run Tip of the Spear. It doesn't scale well in AoE, but it scales better in like single target. But generally, Flanking Strike does keep up with it. And it is up to your playstyle. It's up to you in which way you want to spec. They're both really well. Okay, before we talk about the Soulbind, let's talk about the actual Covenant ability, because I'm going to be explaining the Covenant ability while talking about the Soulbind. So what the Covenant ability is called Resonating Arrow. Resonating Arrow fires an arrow at the target, deals some arcane damage to all targets that it's hit by, but you also get 30% increased critical strike against all targets for 10 seconds. And you can also line of sight and do damage through walls. So if in the other side, when you're going up to the MIKANIKOS area, one of the mobs where it does a pulsing AoE, you can actually throw your resonating arrow down, go behind one of the pillars because you have to, I guess, line of sight them, but then you can use your aspect of the eagle and keep damaging through the walls, so you have more damage uptime. So you can do some funky things like that. But that's Resonating Arrow. It's on a 1 minute cooldown, which is really well. And like I mentioned, I'll talk about Resonating Arrow a little bit more when we talk about the Soulbind. So let's talk about Conduits. You run into 2 potency conduits, so one at the top and one underneath Hammer of Genesis. So the first one you'll want to run is Strength of the Pack. When your kill command resets, you gain a flat % amount of increased damage to all your spells. So this is really good. It also works well with your Pheromone Bomb because once you get the reset, you also get Strength of the Pack. So you can do like min-maxing in AoE where you get a kill command reset to proc the % damage, throw out some serpent stings, then kill command again before the pheromone bomb ends, and then keep proccing that % damage, and also weaving in your wildfire bombs on top of that. So currently at level 48, you can either run two things. One, you can run Enfeebled Mark, which your attacks and abilities within the resonating arrow is increased by a flat amount %, or you could also run Flame Infusion, which Carve increases the next damage of your wildfire bomb, stacking up to 2 times by 7%. Well, by a flat %. So you can either run that. It really depends on what you want to run, because you can Resonating Arrow, you can Carve, proc the 2 charges of Flame Infusion, and then you can bomb again. Just remember, it's only the wildfire bomb explosion and not the cluster, where Enfeebled Mark is just all damage within there. So I know a lot of people like to run Flame Infusion, or have been wanting to run Flame Infusion, which is not too bad, but because it only does the explosion and not the cluster, you have Enfeebled Mark scaling better. And also, once you hit Renown 57, Enfeebled Mark is going to be the best in slot for AoE, because you're going to be having Resonating Arrow up a lot more. In terms of finesse, you can run Reversal of Fortune. You just gain focus when you interrupt. And your endurance ones, I like to run Rejuvenating Wind, which when you use Exhilaration, you get an extra healing dot over 8 seconds. And I run Harmony of the Tortolan in Mythic Plus, which reduces your aspect of the turtle by a flat amount of seconds. Those are the conduits. If you have any questions, again, drop a comment down below, and hopefully I can answer them for you. Alright, so let's start talk about the Soulbind, which is Forgelight Prime MIKANIKOS. So the first one is Bron's Call to Action. After 75 damaging or healing abilities, you summon Bron, which when he summons, he does an AoE knock-up. He does some small damage and does some small healing. So it's just a passive, which is you get a new friend. And I'll link my Bron's Call to Action video down below to show you what spells actually are used to be able to summon him, because not all spells actually do. The next one that you actually want to go down, we'll only talk about the important ones, is down in the middle. Hammer of Genesis, damaging a new target, grants you 3% haste for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5. So you can potentially get up to 15% haste, which works really well, because haste is our best stat. Which means in an AoE scenario, without talking about multi-dotting and kill commanding, you can Resonating Arrow, bomb, carve, bomb again. Then you probably wait, depending on your haste levels, I wait about 1 second, then I can bomb again. Which with your Wildfire Cluster legendary, you're getting 30% crit on all the little clusters that hit, and also the initial explosion. And then now in this week, you go down to Soul Glow Spectrometer. Damage or healing and a target analyzes its merits for 15 seconds. So what will actually happen is, which I'll show a clip talking about it, while damaging, you get a little buff called Soul Glow Spectrometer. It stacks up to 5 times. So you'll be doing 5% extra damage to one particular target, and then once that 15 seconds ends, it just recycles to another target, or the same target if you're doing a single target fight, which is really good because you're just getting flat % damage. It's insane. And then the last one we're going to talk about is the Effuse Anima Accelerator. Once we hit Renown 57, Resonating Arrow releases a blast of overcharged anima, dealing 5k damage, split evenly to all targets over 8 seconds. But the biggest thing here is it reduces the cooldown of Resonating Arrow by 4 seconds to a maximum of 20 seconds. So it potentially means you get Resonating Arrow up every 40 seconds, which you'll have it pretty much every single pull in a Mythic Plus dungeon, which is actually insane. It does damage, more crits, So that means we start scaling with haste crit, or you can still run haste first, which is really good. Again, appreciate you all being here. Thank you all new supporters. If you have any questions, drop a comment below, like, subscribe, do all that jazz. Until next time, it's the year of the spear.